For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. First off, before I introduce our guests, I want to thank everybody that's been supporting us. We've really been seeing a lot of support on the Instagram with some of these new videos we've been releasing over the last couple of months. And actually, I think our guest commented on one of our more recent videos, filling us in who the band was, because we had not a clue when we were doing the React to Mosh Pit videos. But I would just wanted to take that second to thank you. We're trying some different stuff here on Live and Amplified, different content, all that fun stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and keep supporting us. So really appreciate it as we continue to expand upon the podcast and our live videos and all that fun stuff that we've been doing for a good minute now. But let's jump right into it. We got a very special guest with us, another Waco brethren. It's very rare. I've been in Waco 3 years, and I think we've only had 3 or 4 people from Waco on the podcast. So it's kind of funny, weird, and, you know, all that fun stuff. But we have Westy from Ghost Dance Band. How's it going today, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm really excited to sit down and chat with you. We were connected through a mutual friend, Dustin, and he speaks very highly of you. And I've been trying to go see one of your shows, but all of last year we talked previously what was going on, and I wasn't able to get out there last year. And then this year, just kind of been really busy. But hopefully I'll get to see you in October. So
yeah.
But
if nothing else, we'll lock it down in October.
Yeah, we'll get it going in October. It's been one of those weird things. I haven't been able to see a lot of local Waco bands, but then again, when I live right down the street from Lakeside Tavern, they kind of have the same people every time, and it's just like, maybe I should go downtown, but I don't really want to drive all the way downtown, and, you know. But anyways, so first off, really excited to have you on here, chat, get to know you a little bit more, all that fun stuff. For anybody that's just kind of getting to meet you for the first time, what's your background? What got you into music? Kind of do a little brief comic book 101 type stuff.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess really my mom was the biggest influence growing up. She was constantly playing her, 50s, 60s music. She's a total flower hippie. So I was raised in a house that was always playing music, and she was the one that really broke it down to me in terms of a song can tell a story. And I would always ask her, well, what's this song about? Well, no, what is this song about? And she would, give me her interpretation of, like Last Kiss or whatever, And so in terms of my love for music, it really stems from her. The performance aspect of it was my dad, before he split, which we all know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
But he played guitar like a maniac. So the memories that I do have of the old SOB was, in honky tonks and in clubs, and just watching him just go up there and just rip, like old R&B and Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff like that. So my love for guitar came from that, from witnessing on a very small scale, mind you, dad local band top, but it came from that. So I would as a kid I would find myself listening to like a Motley Crue song or something on the radio or ZZ Top, and I would always signal out the guitar, and I would just kind of tune everything else out and only hear the guitar. So I kind of knew early on that I want to play guitar, that I'm not a drummer or bass player. It's 6 strings all day.
Yeah, I feel it. And are you born, raised in Waco, or did you move here later on in life?
Oh no, I'm like 10th generation Waco, and
nice.
My family's been here since they painted the first sign.
Oh wow, that's
Oh
amazing.
yeah, we've been here forever, man.
Yeah. One of the guys I work with, his dad was pretty big in Waco back in the day, and he tells me stories upon stories about how Waco used to be, even like before the whole David
Tornado.
Koresh thing
Oh, and that.
came in, and then obviously Fixer Upper not really fixing anything up, but you
God,
know,
don't get me started on that. You'd
yeah,
have to.
it's
Ugh.
I think you talk to anybody that's been in Waco for more than 30 years, they probably have a really strong opinion about how things are right now.
Well, it's. I mean, don't soften up my Waco. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm proud of the fact that you can't go down MLK at night. Like that. That's right. Like Waco is one of those people are hard here. They're
yeah,
born hard. They live hard. Like it's. I don't want that fixer upper silo crap in my Waco. Like get out of here, man.
I
Like
feel it.
yeah, taking away our street cred.
Yeah, I feel that. I will say though, there's no place in Waco that I wouldn't go at any point during the day or night. Just there's
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
I
you're right, kids.
yeah.
Visit. It's a great place.
No. I say that because I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and
Oh, okay. Well,
I know what sketchy places look like.
oh yeah,
And
man. I bet you have
to
stories.
to me, there's a difference between sketchy places and seasoned places.
Yeah,
And yes, there may be sketchy people that live here in Waco, but there's not sketchy places in Waco. That's my opinion. What do I know? I don't know
oh,
nothing
yeah.
about Texas. So, oh no, that's cool. So you've been here your whole life. Was there any thought of like picking up and moving to Austin or Dallas or any of those places? Because I know that seems to be a pretty common thing with a lot of the younger kids from Waco that I talk to. It's like, oh, I just can't wait to get out of here to go to Waco or go to Dallas or Austin.
Well, as a kid, I mean, it's you talk to people that grew up on the beaches of California and they want to live in the mountains where they can
Yeah,
ski, and people that live in the mountains want to live in Hawaii, and so I think that no matter where you grow up, you kind of hate your hometown
yeah,
for one reason or another. So of course, whenever I was younger, all I could do was talk about getting out. And, oh these damn rednecks and all. I just hate But you grow up and you realize that Waco's actually pretty cool, man. It's a
hmm,
really good place to raise a family, and I mean, I'll crack my my hood jokes and my
yeah,
David Koresh jokes and all that, but all in all, Waco's 95% great to
yeah,
start a family and anchor down and lay roots here.
hmm,
And also, I realized we're centrally located between so many things that if I want to
yeah,
go to Dallas, I'm an hour away, and if
hmm,
I want to go to Austin, I'm an hour away.
yeah.
So anytime I got it, I got the itch to travel. I just went.
Go, yeah,
Oh yeah. So, but it's nice to come back to my small little town.
yeah, for sure. I feel that. Yeah, that is one of the convenient things is just being centrally located, and like even further than that, like like you, I like to get out and travel and do things, and I'm like 8 hours from anywhere I want to be, other than Chicago. Like I can't get back to Chicago in 8 hours, but it is what it is. But anywhere else I want to go, I can get there in 8 hours
Yeah.
driving. That is so.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So, kind of jumping back on the music, you got exposed to and really interested in playing the guitar early on. At what point did you kind of start exploring the idea of like writing your own music?
Well, I think it playing the way that I play guitar, and anybody that that jams with me or knows me, I think will agree that I kind of have my own way about it.
Hmm.
Um, and as I was, I'm self-taught,
Hmm.
but as I was kind of coming up and figuring out the instrument, the way that I learned how to play it really kind of laid a solid foundation for writing. And although I'm definitely not a songwriter, I'm never gonna go hit the singer songwriter circuit and get a bar stool and acoustic and sing my tales.
Hmm.
But uh, I think that I'm good at hearing melody lines in my head or hearing a chorus in my head, and even if it comes to me in terms of like singing, like
Mhm.
I'll hum something that'll just kind of get stuck on loop, and I've always been really gifted to pick up my guitar and I can just bang that out, like boom. So the things that I want to write, I've always been able to manifest. Whereas I know that there's a lot of people out there that, might know their way around a fretboard, but creatively, it's hard for them to get motivation to write something down or to create something that they feel has substance. So, I mean, yeah, man, I guess it's really just my own take on the guitar mixed with a little bit of ADD.
Mm.
It just kind of makes it happen.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Uh, so it was always the guitar. There was never any like, oh, maybe one day drums. It was just kind of always guitar.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I toyed, embarrassingly, I toyed with the idea of being a DJ at one point,
Okay.
and doing the whole EDM thing. Whenever, and I'm sure we'll get into the band crap at some
Yep.
point in this
Yep.
show, but we used to be a metal band before we were us. Same members minus Cody, my brother, the singer. But when we were doing that, I always wanted to try to implement and incorporate, like EDM type stuff into the. But it was never so much in the songs themselves as I would get into Ableton and I would make intros or interludes or in betweens and bring those elements, and that's how I kind of got to scratch my itch.
Yeah.
But that or not, man, I saw how not to throw shade at the DJs out there, but your average run of the mill Guitar Center DJ has got it pretty easy. I'll tell you what, I mean, I figured out real quick you can charge a couple of grand to do someone's party and have $1,000 worth of gear that's all running Spotify on your phone through an aux cable, and they don't know. And then you just hit play, hit shuffle, and then do the whole
just pretend. Yep.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and then like random people come up there and twist knobs like they're doing something. And you're like, yeah. So from a business perspective, I was like, maybe this DJ thing is the way to go about it. But the artist was like, nah, dude.
Yeah, it's not fulfilling.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny you bring that up. So early on during Live and Amplified, I had this idea of trying to figure out a way to bring in like DJs or like. But when I was thinking DJs, I was thinking in like old school, like they scratch vinyl, and then you bring in like the hip hop heads, and they just do freestyle over the like old school, almost like cypher type stuff. And I had two different hip hop videos that we did. The first one went amazing because they understood what we wanted to do, and even though he wasn't technically scratching, he was able to make it look like he was because he had it all like electronically laid out, and he had like the record tape or the turntables that were technically digital, but if he could make them move and all that fun stuff. So he made it look like he knew what he was doing, and I'm sure he did. But for this, it was all pre-recorded and rehearsed and whatnot. And then the second time we did it, the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly what you want to do." He was setting up his laptop, and I was like, okay, so we're going to get a nice tight shot on this because he's going to be doing all these he's going to be doing his scratching and all that stuff. And we had the rapper that was going to be doing his stuff over here. And I'm not really paying attention to what the DJ's doing, but we get back into the editing bay, and I'm looking at the footage, and all he's doing is pressing the fucking space bar. And I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait, what is going on here? And my buddy's like, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but
look, man, sometimes you just gotta call him like he sees them. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. And I'm sure that somebody out there is gonna get butthurt and pissed off, like that's you're not talking about real DJs. And in your defense, I'm not. Like the dudes that like oh my god, I wish my drummer was in chat with us because he could tell me. Who was the DJ in Beastie Boys? And I'm sorry that I even asked that.
Well, I have the computer right here, so while we're talking, I will look that up.
Yes, I feel like such a poser for not just knowing that on hand. But, for example, oh my God, oh, I'm trying to think. That dude murders. Like,
Yeah.
he is the truth, you know.
Mixmaster Mike.
Mix Master Mike. I thought it was
Yep.
Mike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Sid Wilson of Slipknot, dude's
Yeah.
fantastic scratcher. Like, I definitely respect the art because the reality of it is an art, but I'm banging on your, you know, you've seen them, you've
Yeah.
dealt with them, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yep. I do. But you know what? Although your pocketbook may be a lot happier if you had gone through with the DJing, I'm sure you're quite happy doing the Ghost Dance Band and just kind of doing what you're doing. So,
Oh man, so much happier.
um, so at what point were you kind of having that internal struggle? Was that early on during your music career, or was that kind of right before Ghost Dance Band, or where'd that kind of play in?
You mean the whole do I play guitar or do I wiki
Yeah,
wiki?
yeah.
Okay, man, well, it was really, uh, it was really. I played guitar through high school. Like I
Hmm.
started really taking it serious in high school,
Hmm.
and you know I'm fucking old, so I graduated in '03. But uh, I didn't know anybody. I had like one friend that I didn't see a whole lot that played guitar, and had another friend that kind of goofed off more than anything else, and so nothing really productive came of it. And so although I had you know the itching in my little heart, I had no way to actually manifest it and make it something real. So
Yeah.
the DJ aspect was like, well, I can do this by myself. I can sit here and nerd out at my computer, and I can bang this crap out, and then I can upload it to SoundCloud or what have you, and you know, and maybe if somebody throws a party, I can bring my little gear over, and you know, but luckily, luckily, my life took a really hard pivot, and whenever that happened, although it was it was a really big rough patch, honestly. I mean, it's uh, I met everyone that I'm now currently in a band with, obviously except my brother, which I've been
Yeah.
stuck with his little bony ass, but you know, but yeah, dude, I dated a girl, and this girl had a cousin, as most humans do, and we break up. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, these people are, you know, they're voted off the island, so never see them again. And one day, lo and behold, the cousin hits me up. Hey, my husband is in a band, and they need a guitar player.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, I've seen you, nerd, so I'm not expecting much. And
Hmm.
I go over to the house, and we, all right, let's do this little jam session. And I'm all cocky and arrogant and a little douchebag. And I walk in, and these dudes are slaying it,
Yeah.
like they're killing it. And I was just like, holy shit, you know, like I got real small real quick, like, oh damn, okay. But through that experience, you know, breaking each other's balls and all that, they, you know, they invited me in, and you know, kind of musically mentored me, and all that. And, you know, and I love those dudes, and they're all a couple of years older than me. So I was, even though I'm their age, I'm still younger. So that means I'm the kid to them, you
Yeah.
know, and it just, I just kind of felt, like I knew a good thing when I saw it. And I knew that I was like, these guys are the last people I ever want to jam with. And if I ever am going to find a home that will, you know, nourish what I'm trying to do and will help me grow and grow with me, and that I can influence, and vice versa, like we have this chemistry that a million people that are in the music business are trying to find.
Hmm.
And I just struck gold, man. And we did the metal thing. The metal thing kind of evolved into the GDB thing, and here we are, you know, 5 years later, you know, four not counting COVID,
Yeah.
and you know, and I've got to do things that I've only dreamed of doing whenever I was playing metal. So it's been a crazy ride, man.
Nice. Yeah. It like just the random nature in which the band kind of came together, and it's pretty much it's been the same lineup since you.
Yeah, give or take about 10 bass players.
Fair.
Like, you know, we kind of had the baseman curse.
Hmm.
So we did go through our share of bass players.
Gotcha.
But I will say that the pool of people that we cycled through was all of our buddies that played bass within the scene. So it's
Hmm.
not like we were shipping people in from Austin or Dallas or
Yeah.
Hillsboro or wherever. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
oh, well, are we talking to Ben today? Or are we talking to Scott? Are we
Yeah.
talking to, we're talking to, Nathaniel or, or who's going to do this time? And so we kind of got this revolving door of bass players.
Yeah.
But GDB, we went through a couple, and then we found our little maestro James, and he's been with us for a couple of years now.
Hmm.
And
Nice.
we just recently put him on paper, so he's blooded in and part owner of the band now. So
Nice.
got
That's
him.
what's up. Usually, it to me usually it's like the drummer that always gets kind of cycled through for like every band that I've ever seen. Anytime, like as far as like independent bands go, anytime I go, they always have a different drummer. It's like, oh, who's playing drums for you tonight? It's, which is interesting and weird all in itself. But
Right? Shit,
so
not us, man. Like we Chris is anchored, and the thing about it is that we're all insecure musicians, even
yeah,
though we're all really like confident masculine dudes. But I mean, none of us want to get left behind. None of us want to miss out. None of us want to get replaced. And
yeah,
so we all dig our roots in real deep. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going anywhere, So even though every time we get pissed, I'm quitting this damn band, da 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 da, but it's all just bullshit.
yeah.
But
It
like I said, dude, we're a family, dude, for sure.
nice.
We're locked in, and I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
Yeah,
Like if Chris, which is our drummer, if he ever left, I mean, we talk about there's a million other musicians out there that are like better. I mean,
yeah.
I can tell you 10 guitar players that are buddies of mine that, in my opinion, shit all over me.
Hmm.
I mean, so there's definitely better people out there, but I think that the vibe and the creativity and the spark that make us special are the members that we have. And I
Hmm.
think if you took one element out, it just would not be the same.
Hmm.
So,
It's that old adage, or I, for whatever reason, I was reminded of the um, Major League, the third Offspin movie that they did, where they went back to the minors. They made an infamous quote about um, sometimes you just have too much talent and not enough team. That's kind of what you're talking about here, which is a very weird thing to pop into my head, but yeah.
right.
So, no, that's really cool that you're kind of aware that it's not all about talent. It's about the team that you build and the team chemistry, and or in your case, family chemistry. Just kind of building that family of we're not the best five musicians that ever lived, but we just play off each other, and we're able to create magic together.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, and I'm definitely not over here trying to say that we suck or
Yeah,
we're not any fucking good or nothing. I mean,
yeah,
like let's not get it twisted. But what I'm saying is that there's educated, learned
mm,
musicians
yeah,
out there that are damn savants that go into these bands, and you're like, oh my god, individually these people are just all of
yeah,
them could be teaching music at Baylor, yet the product that they create is ass.
hmm,
The chemistry that they have together is ass. They don't go anywhere. They
yeah,
they exist for a year and a half, and then they break up.
hmm,
Because with all of that savant level talent comes ego.
yep,
And one thing that GDB does not tolerate very long is fucking ego.
yeah,
And I mean, there's a buffer, there's a limit. We all have our moments where we kind of like, kind of do our thing. But anytime it ever gets too bad, it gets squashed and
yeah,
everybody gets brought down to earth. So, yeah, man, it is a crazy thing
yeah,
for sure.
for sure, for sure. Um, so where are you guys kind of at creatively? I know we talked prior to this that you're all, or that you're kind of working on something. Where are you kind of at creatively right now, as far as like music goes?
Well, let me see how I'm going to word this. We're kind of in this rebranding / rebirth phase where whenever because the way that, and I guess to understand who we are now and where we're going, you kind of have to have a little bit of backstory. So I guess we've hit that point where I give you the old dream sequence flashback.
Yeah.
But picture this. The year was 2017.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the metal band was in the studio. Right. We were going to do a song. We were going to make our big push, and we threw down big kid money for a big kid studio, and we have all these dreams and plans. Well, the whole time behind the scenes, Cody, my brother, was teaching himself little old cowboy chords on the acoustic.
Yeah.
Now that's whatever. But what Cody's always been blessed at is writing. He's always been a very gifted writer, and he, very talented. He's a wordsmith for sure. Well, he hit us up and was like, "Hey, I've got a song that I wrote. Will y'all just be my studio band? I just want to say that I recorded a song, and then I'll just go on about my business." We were like, "Yeah, dude, for sure, man, yeah." Well, we heard the song that he had, and we were like, "Holy shit, this is a really good song." Like, for you to have written 3 songs in your life, this is a banger. Like, wow. Well, the crazy thing that made it scary was that this was so out of our element as musicians that it was completely uncharted waters. We didn't really know how to slow down. We didn't really know how to not, and so to tackle this, what we were just calling country at the time became this huge, daunting undertaking, because although my family is a rodeo family, so me being the kind of metalhead black sheep that wanted nothing to do with it, I always kind of picked on it. I didn't really give it the respect that it deserves, and I ate my words wholeheartedly, because I realized, sounding easy and being easy it's very different. Maybe not the best analogy, but people, you listen to a country song and you're like, shit ain't hard. But then I'm like, okay, we'll write one. And you're like, okay, well, So we went to the studio, we banged our heads together, we molded over of, do we try to write a twanky country song? But then we were kind of like, wait a minute, that's not who we are. I don't listen to it. I have nothing to base myself off of. I have, outside of like growing up of 80s and 90s country, like Dwight Yoakam and stuff like that, I have no real point of reference for how to create that kind of music. So we were like, okay, boys, let's just change the guitar tone, but let's write a song the way that we would write it, as if we were going to go out and headbang and smash. And that's what we did. I approached my lead work like I would in an Affinity song, and guitar, all of that. And what we got back was such a spiritual experience, because for the first time as a musician, even though I've played some kind of cool shows in the metal world and all that, I've never felt validated. And I finally felt validated, and I think I speak for all the guys when we say this, that wow, we just came together in harmony like boys to men, and laid down some shit that we probably should not have been able to do. And in that moment, we were like, this is what we're doing now. Like this is it. This is who we are. But in that first set of songs, we were all over the place. We didn't know what we wanted to be. And one of us would talk about wanting to do something aggressive. And then the other one would be like, but we're a country band. You can't do that. And then the other would be like, it doesn't matter, bro. And da-da-da-da-da-da. So we had this weird mixture. And if you listen to the Rituals EP, one song is really dark and moody. The next song is like a pop country song. One song is like a hippie weed smoking song. And then the next one is like a deep, powerful love song. And so it took us a while to find our voice. And, people would always say, promoters and managers, the people that are drunk at bars, and I'll, tell you, oh, stick with me, boys, straight to the top. Just y'all are the best thing here, blah, 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 blah. Well, they were like, but everybody came back with the same critique. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to market you. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to sell you. We don't know how to describe the music. It's eclectic. It's this melting pot.
Yeah.
So we, in the studio 2 songs ago, came up with the term that we're Texas black dirt,
Okay.
which is, which if you know what red dirt is, and obviously, but then you hear that black, and
Yeah.
and automatically you can see the wheels in people's heads start turning to where they're making, even if it's not really relevant to what we actually are, you can see that
Yeah.
they're putting it together and they're creating this thing in their minds, and they're all like, yeah, okay, you've got me intrigued, color me interested.
Yeah.
And so we definitely, once we kind of found that branding really kind of unified the direction, it really unified the ideas that we all had in terms of what we really want to do. And my belief is that rules don't exist, laws don't exist, everything is a human construct, there is no box. We can play whatever we want because it's our band and our music. We're not on a major label. We have no one to disappoint. Like, any idea we have, we should just run with it, because why not? Because who cares? I mean, get hit by a truck tomorrow, why have the regrets?
Yeah.
So, so we went from a very pretty, glassy, smooth, acoustic, folky style EP
Mm-hmm.
to a more aggressive rock kind of alternative vibe, to where now the new music, we're dropped down to D standard, and we might even go lower on some songs, and so everything is downshifted. And in our live show, we bring our metal elements where we're all headbanging together, and we're seeing how low we can go and how hard we can sling our hair. And I mean, and we're really just creating this vibe of, we just played you a song you can dance to, and then click, 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 whoa, and then it just, the heavy comes out. And so, we're creating this, we're trying to create a scene that people that, like a little of this and a little of that can find a home, that, because it's, because I've always said that with the way that the scene is going now, and the way things are kind of going in that pop punk direction and that more kind of early 2000s like radio rock direction, people want the energy of a rock show. They want the energy of a metal show. They want to say that they were there, and which is kind of poserish, but I mean, you can't expect everybody to just headlong into like a cattle decapitation pit. I mean, everyone's got limits, and from a business perspective, you have to look at it from marketability and accessibility. So I was like, boys, we've got a cute ass little hippie front man with a little acoustic guitar doing his thing. Why not have this like distorted, heavy wall of sound that just comes through that? So you've got somebody playing songs and singing in a way that is accessible and understandable, but you have the rock show behind it. You've got the guitar players headbanging, and you've got the guitar throws and jumping off shit and running around and like spitting water at each other and jacking with each other and all that. That party vibe. But you've got serious lyrics with deep artistic music, and yeah, man, it's been working, and we've got big plans for 2023, and and I'm really excited to showcase the new. So yeah, dude, it's been a trip, man, for sure.
Nice. To kind of reaffirm everything that you just said about having this sound of that's a very versatile sound that appeals to more casual listeners but still has the energy of a rock show. I was at a music festival in Roswell, New Mexico. It was basically just an all-day concert. And the way the promoter lined it up was he had this like, they were a country band, but they were a little bit hard, like a little bit of harder rock country band. Like they didn't just play like Tennessee Whiskey. It was a little like they played a little bit harder stuff. And like they had the ability to kind of jump back and forth into the softer and the harder stuff. And there's people out there doing like the typical Texas dance hall, like they're out there doing their dance hall spins and whatever it is. As you can tell, I'm not from Texas, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. But then the next band up was like a heavy, not a heavy metal, but like a high intense hard rock is what they like to call themselves. And just like the same people that were out there doing their, not square dancing, but like like dance hall stuff. They were not in the pit, but because there wasn't a pit at the show, but they were like just there headbanging. And so it was an interesting thing to kind of watch because I stood back and just kind of watched everything unfold. And the same people that were out there dancing or doing their country dances were in the crowd headbanging to this hard, high intensity rock band. It was kind of an interesting dynamic to see unfold.
Yeah, bro. But that's the beauty of it, dude, is that, you know, like you can take your, you know, you can take your hardest metalhead, the Breeze and all that. Don't Stop Believing comes on. They're singing it.
Yep.
You know, I mean, play a Mariah Carey song.
Yeah.
They're going to sing it. I mean, even if they're making fun of it, we all know, there's no matter how serious we take ourselves, we all have that part in us that just absorbs that sugary candy poppy music.
Yep.
Now, granted, I don't want us, and I don't, you know, I could never see us committing to that route of just because of where we are in the scene and the people we surround ourselves with. Like we mentioned Dustin, which for those of you watching, Dustin Brown, our brother D-Bro. Yeah. Dude is a very soulful, very passionate, very serious songwriter, you know? And when you're surrounded by talent like that, it makes, you know, it's friendly competition. Yeah. You know, like Dustin just can't, you know, he'll come out with a song that's like so emotional, you know, because that, you know, he's a pretty intense entertainer. You know, even though he's such a laid back, sweet, chill guy, you know, but like, you know, his art is very, very gripping. And, you know, and you are who you run with, you know, and it all keeps us wanting to be together. And, you know, the influence, you know, like we love that we rub off influence on others, and I love that other people rub off on us. And, you know, and it just gives you this kind of sense of community that although we're all different, we're all individuals. Like you can play a D-Bro song, and then you can play a GB song, and you can 1000% be like, this is Dustin and this is Ghost Dance. Like, you know, like none of us in the scene are, you know, and when I say the scene, I mean like our direct circle of friends, you know, maybe not the entire Texas circuit, but our, you know, wolf pack, you know, nothing is cookie cutter in terms of, well, you can't tell this one from that one and that one from that one, which is a big problem in mainstream music as a whole, and that goes across all genres. So, yeah, man, it's you know, it's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's the limited exposure that I have had to the or like I'm going to just call it the Central Texas music scene, just for for the sake of the argument, because I could sit here and say, well, the Waco scene. No, that's Central Texas music scene. Just like I talked to one person, they introduced me to somebody. It's like that the 6 degrees of separation. Well, it's like 2 degrees of separation here in Central Texas. Like I talked to one band, it's like, oh, work with these guys, and then they introduced me back to somebody I've already worked with. It's it's a really cool scene. I really enjoy being here, and when I moved here 3 years, or I guess it'll be 3 years in October. So when I moved here 3 years ago, I wasn't quite sure. It kind of felt like I was going to get myself into a situation where there was gatekeepers, and because like the original couple people I talked to, they were like, oh yeah, just go through me. I'll introduce you to a whole bunch of people, and then they disappeared like within 6 months of me. Well, and I guess it was also the pandemic had something to do about it, but you know,
Well,
you
okay,
know,
well, true. Yeah.
it's one of those things. But you know, it was like, oh yeah, stick with me. I'll introduce you to everybody, and yeah, we yeah, I made more headway just going to a show over here at Lakeside, and it's like, oh hey, you know, cool. So
Yeah, and that's that's the way it works. And the gatekeepers, they are real. They are out there. It does
yeah,
exist. I mean, we talk about in GDB,
yeah,
we talk about the imaginary make believe Illuminati fraternity that exists. Like you got to be in the fraternity, dude. Like so I mean, it all that is out there. But the best way, and you've already got it figured out because you're out there doing it. Just get up, go to the show, go where
mm,
the scene is, go where the music is, go where the people are that you want to be around, and
yep,
it just be a fucking cool guy,
yeah,
just shake hands, buy beers, and just shoot the shit, and just be a good hang, and then you will be welcomed in,
yeah,
and then opportunities present themselves to you. You don't have to go out and bootlick or beg, or like a lot of people out there do,
yeah,
and it's just ultimately it's always a better way to go.
yeah,
So
for sure.
it's cool, man, that you figured that out that quickly,
Yeah,
because relying
because
on a oh, I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. I was gonna
Oh,
say because I could usually sniff out the bullshit pretty
yeah,
quickly, so
yeah,
it it's not hard to see who's really out there with pure intentions or who's just out there trying to grab clout for themselves. It's pretty easy to pick up on. So
oh
at
yeah,
least for me. So
and I've dropped little nuances, throughout this, and because I'm not going to go into like deep detail and out anybody, or do
yeah,
anything specifically. I mean, I would never, but we've had many shows
yeah,
where, and not that we haven't had bad shows where stuff goes wrong. I mean, God, yes, we have. Oh my God, but you had those nights where you're touched by the gods and everything is just perfect. You
mm-hmm,
can't go wrong. Oh, I want to try something improv real quick. Boom, it just perfect.
yep,
And then you get off stage and the energy is there, the crowd is there, and of course the people that want to talk to you are there, and it's, oh my God, like I kind of said a few minutes back, like I do this and I do that and I
yeah,
know these people, and here's my information. I will do this and I'll make this. And then they sober up the next day and you never hear from these people ever again.
yeah,
Or you fire off a text like, "Hey dude, it's been 4 months. Like
yeah,
you want to throw our way, or you got any kind of update, or
yeah.
dot 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 delete, dot 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 delete."
Delete.
Because it's
Yep,
like, yeah. So,
yep,
dude,
yep.
I feel you.
Yep. Speaking of shows, how often are you guys playing right now? Obviously, you kind of mentioned that you're not quite as spread out as you used to be, but how often are y'all playing shows?
Well, I think we played close to like 70 shows, 60,
Hmm.
70 shows in 2019.
Okay.
And then, of course, the pandemic happened, and oh my God. And it seems like a lifetime ago, but it also seems like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we still have this like PTSD, like pandemic is like an F word to us.
Yep.
So, we had to, obviously, we along with everybody else that does this, we had
Mm.
to claw and climb our way out of the mud, because when everything reopened, oversaturation over oversaturation, and
Mm.
just and the bands that are used to going out and getting a paycheck, now they have to play for anything, because
Yep.
everybody that wants to play for free or whatever will. And so I mean, so it was just this, everybody kind of had to start over.
Mm-hmm.
So we got off to a slow start in 2021 whenever things kind of kicked back open, and 2022 could have been more, but we made the business decision to sort of downshift
Mm-hmm.
live shows to give ourselves opportunity to be creative,
Mm-hmm.
to go to the studio, to write, to kind of work on the rebranding, which I shouldn't really say rebranding. That's misleading. I would say the evolution,
Yeah.
the next step in who we are, not, but we needed to give ourselves time to do that. So I think that this year I don't know, man, we've probably played 20, 30 shows this year,
Okay.
which, I mean, isn't what I like, but I understand why we did what we did. Because now we have, we've got, 2 or 3 songs that we have recorded, and we have, video, and we have things that whenever you're playing every weekend, and sometimes middle of the week, acoustically every now and then, like, you get busy and you realize that, that, wow, okay, like, I'm not doing this Monday through Monday, but damn, dude, like, sometimes you need a weekend. Like, it's shit takes time, and well, we can't go to the studio this month. Shows. What about next month? Shows. What about the one after that?
Shows.
Yeah. So, so giving ourselves that break, although, it always creates anxiety when I'm not playing. Like, I get that. I just get that nervous energy, just, because we might schedule a weekend where only a few of us go down there for one specific thing. Like, we're going to track rhythm demos for a few of our covers. So all we need is drums and bass and acoustic. So 3 of us will go down there, and the other 2 will goof off or go, do dad things or real life stuff or whatever. So, having downtime, like, it sucks, but I'm glad that it's happening. I'm glad that we did it, because, like I said, we're going to hit 2023 pretty hard.
Yeah.
And we already have a lot of stuff lined up for next year. So I am excited, but yeah, dude, this year's just been it's just been like a breather. That's not forced by mandate, know.
It's one of those things where if you've got big things coming, like, it's not even in the works anymore, like, it's well, I'm going to say guaranteed, as much as a guarantee can be anymore. Sometimes you just need to, like, take a minute and mentally prepare yourself for the onslaught of craziness that's about to happen, because over the course of 2023 you probably won't have this like, if you wanted to take a weekend to go take your family to Austin, or like wherever, just take a weekend trip somewhere, 2023 is coming around, you may not be able to do that next year, because
well, man, we speaking of getting to go and do, oh man, talk about commitment and sacrifice. Like, our drummer has to leave his brother's bachelor party. That's a major life experience, and he's bailing so we can go play a show this Saturday.
You guys are playing in LNAMusicReview, right?
Oh yeah. We're at Putters and Gutters, and we're opening for Lowdown Drifters, which I didn't know that I knew them because I didn't recognize the name. But I pulled up some of their YouTube stuff, and I was like, I have 1,000% heard this song. I know who these guys are now. So it's cool, man. I'm excited to meet those guys. And Putters and Gutters is a really cool spot.
Yeah, I was before I jumped on here, I was just running through your Facebook page, and I saw that show, and I was like, man, I'm supposed to be going to Austin on Saturday, but the show I'm going to, they're doing like a festival or something down there, and there's a couple of bands there that I've worked with through the pandemic, as far as like having them on the podcast, and I wanted to go see them play. And they're playing like early mid-afternoon, and in my brain I'm like, LNAMusicReview isn't too far out of the way on my way back to Waco, so maybe I should just make a detour. I won't be able to stay the entire time, but might make for a fun little Saturday excursion. So.
Oh, dude, yeah, man, we'll get you in if you want to show up. We play 8 to 9.
Okay.
So I don't know where that falls with your travel and your plans, but dude, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, and then it's at a bowling alley, right? Yeah, or is that kind of what Putters Gutters?
Dude, yes and no. Like, the stage is the music area is at like this covered pavilion outdoor, but it's big, man. I
Mhm.
mean, it's a really big place. But then on the inside, it's this massive bowling alley and this massive arcade.
Okay.
So like it's like this triple experience. So and it's cool, man, because people can not know that a band will be there.
Yep.
They'll go out and bowl, and they're done bowling. Well, let's pack up and go home. And they walk outside and look over, and there's a band, and they're like, "Oh, damn, cool." So
Let's drink some more.
bro, yeah, let's drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool spot, man.
Yeah.
We've been there a couple of times, and it's always fun.
Nice. Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah.
I'll keep you in the loop on that one and let you know kind of what the plan is. But
Oh, dude, straight
it,
up. Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like I was planning on going to Austin to go check out this fest or the fair or whatever. It's like Peachtree Fair. I don't know what it is, but um, and my buddy I work for the ABC affiliate here in town, and he's like, "Hey, I got a shoot in Killeen Saturday morning. If you want to meet me and kind of tag team this thing before you go to Austin," and I'm like, "All right." So now it's just kind of like that Saturday is just kind of becoming a whole thing for me, which is kind of funny and interesting at the same time. So,
Right on. That's sweet,
but
man.
yeah. So no, that's cool that you're getting out there doing shows and you're still like you're kind of taking it easy. I kind of feel like 2022's been like that for a lot of musicians. Like they're not slowing the grind, but they know 2022 wasn't as big as it could have been, and
Yeah.
2023 is just going to be this year of epic proportions for a lot of people.
Oh
So
yeah. Well,
it's
we just think about it like an overflow, man.
hmm
Like the pandemic shit just spilled over. And then although yes, things were open, like I said, there was just this wave
hmm
of oversaturation, and 2021 got booked up so fast that
yeah,
really 2022 was booked up before 2021 was
even
half
ended.
over.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, dude, I mean, we're still, even though the world is mostly back to normal,
hmm
in a lot of ways, we're still very much on the last tail end of
hmm
just
Yeah.
the massive influx of everybody getting hit and stacked up.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, dude, it's been an experience for sure.
Yeah.
So we just try to make the best use of our time, and it's like, okay, well, let's take a break,
Yeah.
on shows, and let's hammer out this creativity, and that way we can come back out and remake a statement in 23.
For sure. For sure. And then while we're on this track, we talked about it a little bit before about down or in a jam down by the. I always mess up the name of the festival, but in a jam down by the river, which is a festival that was started by Dustin. We've talked about him during the pandemic. He was telling me the whole story about it. About 2020, he just kind of wanted a place for people to go play music and just kind of get a show out there. And then last year, it just kind of ended up turning into a thing that had to keep coming back. I was just like, cool, we need to be a part of this. So, how did you get involved? Was it just one of those things where Dustin reached out to you, or how did you get involved with the festival?
Dustin hit us up directly and was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I want to do this. Would you guys want to?"
Mm-hmm.
And of course, obviously, it's like, we told him, like, this isn't about money. Don't worry about paying us. Like, if
Yeah.
if everybody comes away with a little bit of something cool, like I think the last 2 years we've just donated our cut back.
Mm-hmm.
We just keep it,
Mm-hmm.
and just because it's our way of just making it bigger. And so far, I think the tactic's been working, because
Mm-hmm.
every year, dude, it's just growing and growing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I really do want to brag on the guy, man. I mean, he
Yeah.
had a vision, and because one does not simply create a music festival. You
No.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that, bro. Yet this cat did it, and he did
Mm-hmm.
it well, and he did it right. And I want to say that there was, oh man, I'll just ballpark it, 40, 50 people involved that were performing,
Mm-hmm.
and yet the schedule was relatively on point, and
Yeah.
the changeover was on point. I mean, and like we got through it all, and it happened, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that's ever tried to be an event planner or something like that that
Yeah.
understands the inner workings and the mechanisms of dealing with that many fucking people,
Yeah.
like on top of technical difficulties and all that, like
Yep.
knows that it's not a small undertaking at all. It's daunting. So the fact that it's became what it's became is so inspiring to us, because it's become something that now, like, we look forward to it. Like,
Mhm.
we're gonna be butthurt the year that we don't get asked to go, you know, and then we're just gonna show up. But like, it just gets bigger every year, man. And the damn Quails are gonna be there
Yeah.
this year, which I
Yeah.
mean, they're killer. So like, in a couple of years, who knows where it can be?
Oh yeah.
And
It's
the 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 best way to go about it is just for people that have an inkling of interest in live music and the scene to just really just get off their asses and show up and just go.
Mhm.
Because you know, if you hate 80% of the bands that are there, you're going to fall in love with that 20, and that
Yep.
20% is going to speak to you. And you know, it's going to, you're going to walk away finding something that you didn't
Yeah.
know was there when you got there.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it all, man. And everybody's just throwing down and slamming brews and having a good time.
Yeah.
So
And what I really, from what I've seen of everything, it seems like it's a real musicians music festival. Like, even after the shows have wrapped, or like the sets have wrapped for the night, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I wasn't able to make it last year like I originally wanted to, but it just seems like there's always music no matter what time of day it is.
oh yeah, that's when the campsites kick
Yeah.
off.
Yep.
And anybody that's, you know, I haven't gotten to go to LJT, but Cody's been a bunch, and I
Hmm.
believe Chris has been a few times. After everything is done, it's campsite acoustics,
Mm.
and the bands that are out there playing, everybody's milling around and intermingling, and you know, this guy's playing a song and that guy's playing a song, and all this networking is happening, and it's just this really good time vibe.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's, you know, Jam Down by the River, that's the same thing. I mean, whenever it's over, it's really not over.
Yeah.
It's, the work is done. Now everybody gets to have fun,
Yeah.
you know?
And
So, yeah, man, it's awesome, dude. Like, they'll people, you know, cover each other's songs and jump in on stuff. And everybody that, you know, would normally never get to perform together, like, it's just a big mix them up. And it's awesome.
yeah, I can't wait. Like, I have the dates circled on my calendar. I put the days off in at work like 3 months ago. I was like, I need these days off. I'm not missing it this year, because I think I've heard stories of like the first year, because I understood the intent from Dustin was it was just kind of originally going to be like a one-off thing that he did, and then when he brought it back last year, I was like, oh, this might actually be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year, it's like, no, I'm not missing it, because I don't want to be the guy that misses that thing that could be something very special for many years to come.
Oh
So,
yeah, dude, for sure, man. And
yeah.
everybody that's been involved it's so near and dear to our hearts to be a part of it, just
Hmm.
because we see the potential. And also, not anyone can just go hop on LJT.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, we talk about those gatekeepers and, you know, the Illuminati fraternity that you've got to be a part of to you know, to be in that world. And you know, I'm not saying that, you know, that one day we may not make our way onto those stages and into those circles and into that world, because that's, I mean, ultimately that is the goal. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
we're trying to do it and do it big like everybody else.
Hmm.
But even if we go and we get to do that and we get to experience that, in the grand scheme of it, we're just a band on the bill. Play your show, go on,
Yeah.
go, just whatever you do is like whatever. Whereas Jam Down by the River, like, that's our people.
Hmm.
You know, like it's not just show up, play, leave. Like, I mean, Dustin's like our boy. You know, like he's our
Hmm.
sixth, you know, unofficial sixth member. You
Yeah.
know, so to speak. So, you know, so we're always gonna have more attachment and more
Mm.
desire to see it succeed.
Yeah.
Everything being so close to home. You know, so yeah, dude, you can't. Hell, man, we could have a whole nother podcast just talking about that. Like, it's
Yeah.
just it's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Like, I
and
can't wait.
it's kind of funny when we had him. I had Dustin in the apartment a couple weeks ago. We did a different style podcast, and we were talking about what we as Live and Amplified could do there, because usually when we go to these festivals, obviously this is a completely different situation because we know Dustin, and it's not like we're just coming in for some stranger. But usually for festivals, it's like you've got to follow certain guidelines, you got to do this, do that, and you can't really do anything else. And Dustin's like, dude, you do whatever you want to do. I don't care. And I'm like, wait,
And that's it. It's lawless. It's lawless,
yeah,
baby.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, there's a million things that I want to do, but like, because I don't want to disrupt the show. Like, I don't want to take away from the show or the experience. So in my head, it's just kind of like, all right, what can we do? What can we do to enhance the show? Because I'd love to be invited back next year and be like, hey, that thing you did last year, let's make it a part of the festival, whatever it is. But that's just,
Dude, I'm telling you, man, even if you, like, even if for the 2 days you excuse me, you did just like a 5 to 10 minute interview with people about to perform or just performed,
mm-hmm.
by the end of the weekend your voice is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to do so much talking, and there's going to be so much content to where,
Yeah.
dude, really, the sky's the limit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and like Dustin says, it's safe. Like, no, like, I haven't heard of a single, like, fight or altercation. Yeah. I haven't heard of one person being, like, arrested or, I mean, it's lawless. You can do what you want, but it's a very hippie mindset that everyone's looking out for each other, and everyone's, there to have a good time. And, so it's, because I know that it can be misconstrued, whenever you say those buzzwords like that. But yeah, man, I mean, you can go nuts.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man. And also it's a perfect opportunity to try something new, that even if as a whole it doesn't work out, one piece of it might have worked out that you can build off of for next time,
Yeah, for sure. And we're definitely looking at different things to do. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I got to make sure my guys are in place and able to make it, because obviously they've all got their own situations and jobs and families, and it's not. Whereas for me, if I want to take off 2 weeks in a row, it's going to suck because I'm not going to be able to work for those 2 weeks, but I can do it. Whereas if I try and get them to do it, it's like, oh, yeah, we can't. So,
you're not tethered to those damn families.
I'm not tethered down to family's responsibility or any of that stuff. So, but that's the lifestyle I chose at this point in my life. So, no, that's cool. We're really excited about it, and we'll be there. It's going to happen. So, just kind of moving forward, Ghost Dance Band. You've got the show this weekend. You've got In a Jam down by the river. You're kind of out there working and just kind of geared up for 2023. And you're working on stuff, but are you like, what would be the next ideal step as far as like releasing music? Are you thinking just singles at this point, or albums, or where's your kind of mindset at?
Oh man. Well, our second EP is called Erie Street, and that was kind of the first step in the new direction. In my mind, in my own biased opinion, I think that EP is a fucking masterpiece. I love it. I adore it. I love everything about it. But we released everything all at once.
Yeah.
And we released it a week before the world shut down. So, now granted, nobody could have predicted that was going to happen the year prior. But interesting analytics and data came from that. Like, we learned, okay, well, it was cool to get it all out there, but people will burn through the content. If you give everybody everything all at once, you've got nothing, and you have nothing else planned, or in this case, you're not allowed to go leave the house to go and do, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're just, I think we're going to stick with singles at this point. And then as the singles begin to build up and add up and stack up, condense all of that to a record or an EP, or, we're kind of throwing around code names for a few of the songs, and like me personally, I've been calling the unwritten third EP, I've been calling them Ghost Stories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a code name that we say just for a point of reference. Who knows what it'll end up being, but to me, I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. And it's a collection of songs that are all kind of different. Like the word GDB, Ghost Stories. Yeah. But our next single is Aticophobia, and I believe it is releasing October 7th.
Okay.
So that'll be a full streaming release. And then the music video for it, which we haven't technically announced exists.
Yeah.
We're going to tease for 2 more weeks and then release that probably on the 21st.
Nice.
So we have a spreadsheet and a structure worked out where we have content scheduled to release through, as of now, March of 2023.
Oh, wow.
So,
Nice.
Yeah. So, we even have this really random, we call it the 8-bit EP, where we took all of our songs and turned them into like 8-bit Nintendo music.
Nice. That's awesome.
We're releasing it. It's going to be a thing, and it's, there's no rhyme or reason, because like I said, man, like, what does it matter? There's no rules to this. Do what you want to do.
Yeah, you don't have anybody to answer to, and that's the best part.
And because when the day comes that you've got somebody that, you might have met once that says, oh, well, I saw y'all's flyer and that's not going to work. Or, we heard this idea, we're not going to pass that, then, I mean, that's, I want to say that we did everything that we ever wanted to do. Like, and so far, man, like, we're working on a video game that I'm working on about the band, and it's a full ass RPG.
Nice.
And I've been working on it for 2 years, and it's hard and it's taxing, but it exists. And that's where the 8-bit EP idea even stemmed from. Yeah. Was we were like, hey, I've got this game, we need music. So James, the little maestro, built it, made it happen. Nice. So, really throwing everything out there and seeing what sticks, and just giving people content before somebody else does it.
Yeah.
We were a band for 2 years and went on a tour, and we made a documentary about that tour.
Nice.
Most people don't do that. They wait until they're signed and have 1 million fans. Not us. We were like, no, we're making a documentary. Yeah. And it's the funniest, goofiest thing I think I've ever seen.
Nice. But we did that once. We followed there was a punk band that was like, hey, you want to do a documentary? It was them going on tour, and like the last show was this big first ever weed comic book convention, because it was the weekend that Nevada went full rec.
Oh, nice.
And so it was like, okay, we'll do that. And then at the end of the documentary, or at the end of the shoot, like we're the last day, we were getting ready to depart, and the band broke up.
Wow. Well, at least they had something to numb the pain, I guess, of that loss.
Yeah, and so we're like, okay, well, I mean, I guess that's a way to end this thing. And I get home, I start editing the thing, and I get a call from their drummer. He's like, yeah, I come off like an asshole in all of this, so if you release any of this, I'm going to sue the hell out of you. And I'm like, well, I've got a little sheet here that says you're not going to sue me. He's like, but I am. And I'm like, okay. And then we had 2 more people do the exact same thing, and I'm like, all right, I'll give it a couple of years, but the documentary, I still have all the footage. It's going to get released. I'm putting it on notice. So,
well, nothing says you're punk rock like threatening with lawyers and, okay, conformity.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
It's wild. But
yeah.
no, like the fact that you're working on a video game and doing like all these different things to kind of make yourself stand out is really cool. And I've seen a few different bands do similar things. Not so much the video game aspect, but there's a band we worked with that they're working on a graphic novel
Yeah,
about their band, and like they have their own tarot cards and like all these really cool things that they do. And so like watching bands build up this brand, like I'm gonna just call it a brand because that's essentially what
well,
it
that's what it is.
is,
Yeah.
and just kind of lean into it and just make it a whole universe. It's really cool and really smart for a lot of these bands to be doing this. So
Well, fuck yeah, man. Well, it just adds to the like people ask us, and I'm really surprised you haven't asked us. I'm actually kind of relieved. But everybody goes, Ghost Dance Band, the name, where'd it come from? And we've been asked by 200 people, and we've given 200 different answers.
yeah.
Like we say something different every time. We were on the radio. We 95.9 The Ranch up
Mm-hmm.
in Dallas. Well, we
Mm-hmm.
did we put one of our songs on the local music showdown, and we ended up winning. It was like a 5 week
Yeah.
stressful, like text your ex girlfriend and your parents and vote for me, please, and it's all that
Yeah.
groveling shit. Well, we
Yeah.
ended up winning, and we got to go on and do an interview at the station, and we recorded a couple of acoustic videos,
Nice.
a few of the songs, and yeah, man, like the guy asked me, he goes, "So the name Ghost Dance Band, what can you tell me about it? That's kind of unique. What's all that about?"
Yeah.
And my brother went on like a 6 minute rant about aliens in the desert and snails and indigenous Oklahoma Indians, and I like, and the dude was like you could hear like sigh into the microphone, like he forgot we were like even like live on air, and he was. So there you have it, Ghost Dance Band, and we walked up and we were like, and that shit right there is like, we're never gonna get signed because we
Yep.
you have these moments and you're supposed to be serious, and we just fucking goof off and we don't take it serious. But God, dude, we still laugh about that.
Yeah. I used to ask a lot of bands about where their name came from, but then I started realizing a lot of these stories aren't that interesting. Just because it's like, sometimes like if the name really means something to them, like you'll be able to tell relatively quickly. But for most bands, it's just a name. Like that's
Yeah,
literally all it is. And so I just kind of stopped asking. It's
yeah.
you know,
Especially like if your band includes your name and
yeah,
does, like,
yeah,
like what are you really supposed to say? Well, it's Weston and the band because I'm Weston
yeah,
and they're the band.
yeah,
So and then you've got that awkward like, oh, okay.
yeah,
Because it's like it's so hard to come up as like a creative artist with all these visions, and then you give some lame ass like like
yeah,
boring story for the whole methodology of your brand as a band. So I get it, but we just
yeah,
hit the point where we're like, dude, let's just fuck with people. It's
yeah,
so much more fun.
yeah. It like when the whole band is in on it, and like doing interviews. I understand that a lot of people get a lot of the same questions. It's especially if you're out doing like a radio tour or trying to promote a upcoming single, album, whatever it is, and you do your due diligence and line up a whole bunch of interview or press or whatever, you're going to get a good portion of the same questions. So yes, me doing the podcast, I understand there's certain questions I need to ask for it to be of some value for the band. But after that, it's just kind of like, all right, I want to talk to you. Like, I just want to, let's figure it out. The conversation will flow naturally, and we'll get
Right,
there. And
right.
shoehorning a question in about, oh, how'd you come up with the name of the band? It's just like, yeah,
And
cool,
dude, I respect that so much
yeah,
because we've done some shows where there's just no like I'm a pretty kind of a cartoony type of guy
mm-hmm.
naturally. I mean, I don't really because I mean, truth be told, and anybody that says different is full of shit, and
Mm-hmm.
I will personally call you out on it whenever you're on stage and you're doing your thing. it might be the version of you that you wish you were all the time. It might be the version of you that you think is the most marketable and sellable for the music, but everybody becomes a character.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, if you're in a video game and you're the dude, you're the star of your own movie. So everybody kind of switches into that mode, and so, you know, like being able to do that is so like it's you're true to yourself, but I mean you're also not taking yourself too seriously. Like you're in on the joke as well.
Yeah.
But but it in the grand scheme helps. It helps the art and the branding and and tying it all together. So I mean, everyone does it. Not everybody owns it. I mean, I don't change all that much, but I definitely do, kind of put on the shtick. But it just I think it's just kind of a necessity,
Yeah.
and and it's cool for for podcasts and stuff like that, like you guys to acknowledge it and to run with it because I guess not gonna lie to you, I totally lost my train of thought in like a stoner moment, but it came back. So good, we're back on track. That ADD is
Yeah.
reeled in. So we've done podcasts where the guy doing it was so dreary and
Yeah.
like emotionless and life. The song is 3.5 minutes long. Did you think that 4 wasn't enough? Did you just not have enough words? And we're like, so
I don't.
I mean, it's like it just, even though like you want to have this good time and put your best foot forward, like some people are just emotional vampires and can just Colin Robinson you damn near unconscious.
Yeah.
And so like shit like this all day, so much fun.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny because so I was out in Roswell, New Mexico. That's where the music festival was at a couple weeks ago, and there was this young band that everybody kept telling me that we needed to have on the podcast. I was like, okay, I'll give them a shot. We're all about giving young bands a shot. And they came on, and we've already been going for like 40 minutes strong. And the lead, I think he was the lead singer. I'm not 100% sure. He comes in and he's like, yeah, and if you want, we could jump into like why we or like the meaning behind every song and why we placed it where it was. And I was like, I called him straight out on the podcast. I was like, dude, we're not that deep. I don't care why Rabbit Foot is number three on the track list. It's there because it's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure you have a reason, but to me, that's just where it fits.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of funny when that stuff just kind of unfolds. It's like we're not that deep here. Like I'll ask you good questions, but
Well,
other
man,
than
like
that,
it's I don't know who. I'd have to Google it. I don't know who said it. I believe it was an author,
mhm.
and it was somebody that um, I'm gonna have to end up after the podcast. If we keep talking, I'll Google it and I'll let you know. But people were like trying to decipher like Hotel California style,
Yeah,
where dissect every line, every word. What does
yep,
the deeper mean? What does it really? And somebody asked him, "Why are the curtains red? What's the symbolism?" And the guy goes, "Because the curtains are fucking red.
hmm
That's it."
I,
Like
yeah,
there is no mystique behind why the curtains are red. They simply just are red.
yeah. If
And
I going through film school, I went through all that. Like I went to like a straight artsy film school where they
nice.
thought everything had a meaning. And one of the first films I ever made, I think there was a situation where there was like a conversation between two people, and the curtains or the drapes or the whatever behind them were red, and the teacher asked me, "Oh, that was an interesting style choice. Why did you make the curtains red there?" And I'm like, "Because they were on sale." And he's like, "Oh, well, I mean, the argument red is such a he broke it down. I'm like, at the end of the day, it was on sale. It was $3.99 at Walmart, whereas if I wanted to get the black ones, it was $7.99. Like whatever it was.
Yep.
Yeah. So
That's so funny that you have a red curtain story. That is
yeah,
blowing my mind,
yeah. It's
dude.
it's
sometimes it's better to just sometimes it's better to just have unanswered questions.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
like give some room to think, give some room to just imagine and come up with your own devices as to why things are.
Yeah.
And and it's funny because the more artistic some people try to come off and be perceived as, they overanalyze themselves sterile
Mm-hmm.
to where it's like, well, you're really not that artistic because I can get the literal interpretation for everything you've ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but that ain't
Yeah.
us though, dude. Like
Yeah.
we exist in metaphors.
Nice.
So,
That's
everything is metaphorical. We have stories within stories, and what it means to us doesn't mean to other people, and vice versa.
yeah.
And
Okay.
like
That's
our song "Perfect Night" with like our really like poppy
mhm.
pop country song, it's either, oh my god, it's either "Perfect Night" or "Dreamcatcher." It's one of them, but it's a really happy, positive, uplifting song. One of my buddies, he was probably high at the time when he sent me the message, but he was like, "Bro," and I'll call it "Perfect Night" just for the sake of it, but it could
Yeah.
be the other one. It's just been a while.
Yeah.
He says, "So Perfect Night's really about a serial killer, right?" And we were like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, read the lyrics, but think of it in terms of like you're stalking these women and you're murdering them and you're dragging them through the woods." And I was like, "Okay, that is, first off, you need some therapy, but second of all, that's pretty metal. So that's pretty awesome." But yeah, dude. So it's crazy, man. That like it doesn't matter what it is. If you leave enough room, dude, people are gonna make of it what they will.
Yeah.
And we've had people tweet the lyrics or tag us on Instagram because it's like, one of the lines is like feet floating like feathers. We're lost in these woods together, and it's like their proposal picture because it's to them. They're like,
Yeah.
we're lost in these love. My buddy was like, yeah, feet floating like feathers because she's like dangling from like a meat hook, and like we're in these woods together because I'm abducted in the woods, and that's her soul leaving her body. And I was like, oh my god. So, dude,
What?
bro,
First,
I know the people I spend time with, man.
that's. But so there's one thing I wanted to talk to you about really quick before we kind of wrap all this up. I saw on the GDB page that you shared the Taylor Hawkins filling in for his father.
Yes.
That whole video, and I just recently watched that. I think it was actually yesterday I'd watched it. What did you think of that video? What like as a musician yourself, and what did you kind of think of the whole experience? Like what did you think of that video?
Man, oh dude, I'll try to talk quickly because I feel like I've kept you on so long. But
Not a problem there.
oh, we're the band you have to tell to shut up. Like,
Oh, that's
but no, but I have. It's bittersweet. It's a very bittersweet experience because some of the best performances and most memorable shows that I've seen are tribute shows. The Chester Bennington tribute show was beautiful. The Mitch Lucker Suicide Silence tribute show was beautiful. The Wayne Static one was a train wreck, but at least it happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then Taylor's was beautiful. And so whenever you have this hive mind collective of fans and fellow musicians that are all, locked in on the memory of one person that's no longer with us, and you're celebrating this person's life work. I mean, Foo Fighters have played 1 billion shows, and they're all awesome. That will probably be their greatest performance ever. Yeah. That will be the one that they will remember above all others. And because not only that, because it becomes bigger than the band themselves. It's not about just the 5 or 6 or 7 of them in the band. Taylor's son came out and played drums. And so, you're looking at him and you see a little Taylor.
Yeah.
So you see like that, not necessarily reincarnation, but you see that next chapter that he's gone, but a piece of him is still very much here.
Yeah.
Because we saw, and so and me as a dad, and my daughter's in drum lessons
Mm-hmm.
and wants to be a drummer. So, on a parental vibe, it was very touching for me, and I
Mm-hmm.
got choked up as soon as it kicked off.
Yeah.
But it was just, man, it was amazing,
Yeah.
and you say you love watching it and you love seeing it, but the bittersweet is somebody has to go
Yeah.
for things to happen. And
Yeah.
and I'm sure any of those guys would, at the drop of a hat, do anything to bring him back for 10
Yep.
more minutes. But something will live on that will outlive all of us,
Mm-hmm.
and God forbid that anything ever happened to any of my guys or me or
Mm.
whatever. But but knowing that what little mark that we've left, our like our moms and our girlfriends
Mm.
and our kids, like our small little immediate,
Mm-hmm.
it's on a small scale. We kind of feel like we've done that too. Is that if
Mm-hmm.
anything ever happens to us, 20 years from now, I'll be able to pull up my brother singing, or my best friend playing guitar, or my drummer drumming, and my brothers, and this snapshot of who we were in that moment of time. And
Mm-hmm.
it's something that non-musicians and people that aren't really on camera ever, or do podcast or have their voice recorded, it's something that they'll never really understand,
Yeah.
but those of us that do it get it. And man, that was incredible.
Yeah.
And
And ju-
I'm absolutely going to set aside time to, because is it on Amazon Prime or is it on Hulu? I thought it was on one of those that you
uh,
watch it.
I not I don't have Hulu, but I haven't been on Amazon Prime in a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure which one it's on. But I saw it
Well,
was on.
well,
I
somebody might pop in and correct me at some point, but I'll do some looking into it. I thought that somebody told me that you could stream it on like on one of those,
mm-hmm.
so it's like 6 hours long
Yeah.
and worth it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll clear a day and just binge it, man.
Yeah.
And I just, like, as a musician and a Foo fan, and I kind of feel like I have to, like, it's my
Yeah.
part to like contribute, to the memory of Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm super excited to watch it, and
Yeah.
it was incredible, dude. And maybe one day, his son takes over the role.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 16. In a couple of years, he'll be, out of school and able to kind of make his own way. So, I mean, you know, he may, the sequel
Yeah.
might take over. So how sick would that be?
Yeah, for sure. And what was shocking to me was, yeah, like I mean, you could tell, like just from a technical standpoint, as far as like musicianship goes, you could tell he was playing little bit more aggressive than his dad did. At least just kind of watching him, like if you didn't know any better, you'd think he's like angry at his dad. And for all we know, he might be just angry at the situation because, you know, obviously losing your dad at such a young age, that's just unfortunate for everyone involved. But just watching him play and watching him kind of go through this, I'm like none of us can say like what kind of experience that was for him. It may have been the best experience of his life. It may have been the worst experience of his life, or it just may have been an experience. You know, like nobody can really say. But just kind of watching him go through it is kind of just interesting. The song aside, like that's one of like the is one of my favorite songs from the Foo Fighters that
Oh
they've
yeah.
ever played, and it's like probably one of their, well, I guess I could say most iconic. Maybe I don't know. I guess that one's kind of up
I
for
mean,
debate.
dude, I mean, that's like me saying name the top Metallica song.
Yeah,
I mean, there's, they're just one of those bands that have so many, but
yeah,
I will definitely agree one of the very top.
yeah,
And
and
and that song, it takes on such a new meaning with
yeah,
him gone.
yeah,
Because like my mom, because my grandfather has been gone 5 years,
mm-hmm,
and my mom always said that my hero, that's the song about my dad. So that song's always reminded me of my grandpa.
mm-hmm,
And then to see, his son play that song, how it turns into that. And I mean, I don't know what emotions he was going through. I guess, like you said, none of us do, but
mm-hmm,
I took more of like an athlete's
mm-hmm,
stance on it, to where I think that he went out there and I think that he left it all on the field.
mm-hmm.
I think that he
Yeah,
went out there and And more than likely, if I had to guess, he felt every emotion.
Mm-hmm.
He went through the whole spectrum of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got, and it's, what is it, like a 3.5, 4 minute song?
Yep.
Yeah, roundabout. You've got 3.5 minutes to cycle through your whole life
Yeah.
with your dad,
Mm-hmm.
and that dude probably went as far back as he could to the last time that he talked to him. And the whole time you have to keep tempo, and
Mm-hmm.
you're in a football stadium
Yeah.
with hundreds of thousands of people, so the fact that he could even get through it, and
Yeah.
he murdered it, dude. He murdered it.
Yeah. He did. It was impressive, and I think you said everything else that I could ever want to say about the situation. And I just wanted to kind of take a minute and talk to you because I noticed that was like one of the more recent things that you shared on, or that the band page shared
Yeah.
on Facebook. I'm assuming, are you the one primarily handling Facebook at this point, or?
Yeah, off and on. It's mostly me and my brother.
Okay, gotcha.
Cody keeps things very business professional, and I'm the one that gets my wrist popped because I share SpongeBob memes and Harambe memes and stuff that has nothing to do with the band. But
Amazing.
yeah, but that though, I was like, we have to share it. This it
Yeah.
has to.
Oh yeah, for sure. But if anybody wants to check out Ghost Dance Band or interact with you on social, check out any of your music, any upcoming shows, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place for them to get all that?
Well, I'm in the process of updating the show list.
Mm-hmm.
That will upload the .com website. So the official website for GDB is
Mm.
theghostdanceband.com. We are most active on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is obviously facebook.com/ghostdanceband. Instagram is just Ghost Dance Band. It used to be GDB official, but now I believe it's just the band name.
Yeah.
You'll see on our social media is all unified, so you'll
Mm.
see the Ghost Dance Band logo and the white and purple font.
Mm.
So that's us. And yeah, man, anybody that's involved in checking us out or whatever, we're on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is smaller. We're really working on trying to grow that and
Mm.
release content to make that more, because I feel it's been kind of neglected.
Yeah.
But social media is
Is
it's a
yeah.
it's a necessary evil, and it is a thing. So,
One
but
thing about YouTube, real quick, that I've noticed is like over the last couple weeks been really working for us is these new YouTube shorts that are out.
mm-hmm.
Like off the last 30 days, that's been 50% of our views, and I just randomly started uploading them. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
great idea.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, we'll look, catch us soon on
yeah,
YouTube Shorts. But
nice,
no, we're on TikTok. We're on all that shit you people
yeah,
are on
yeah,
at all hours of the day. Just search it. Just search
yep,
it. It's not hard.
yeah. No, it's not. Gotcha. But it's been an absolute blast chatting with you, and
Oh, dude.
look forward to hopefully catching you this weekend, depending on what the schedule ends up looking like. But I think the schedule's going to work out just fine. So hopefully I'll catch you all this weekend in Lampasas. I don't go to Lampasas, period, but
Yeah.
we'll make that trip work. And then of course, in a jam down by the river. What is it? October
I want to say 15th.
15th, 16th, somewhere in that ballpark. Anybody that is in the area down in New Braunfels or just in Texas in general, like it seems like people come from all over to go to that show.
Oh
That's going
yeah.
to be a blast. So make sure you find
It
your
is.
way down.
I will say to the peoples, it is camper friendly and it is pop tent in the woods hippie friendly.
Yeah,
So if even though like it's a long drive for some of you, once you're there, you technically don't have to leave.
yeah,
So show and stay,
yeah,
and you'll get to know us all real well, maybe
yeah.
too well.
I'm all for it. But once again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been an absolute blast. I look forward to seeing shows and starting to really get out there more here in Central Texas. And yeah, other than that, thank you all so much. If you want to continue to support Live and Amplified, liveandamplified.net is our website. That is where you can get all our socials, links to the podcast, YouTube, all that fun stuff. And then if you are new, just finding us here on Twitch, this is a new adventure for us. We're really starting to build our Twitch community and really love the support that we've been getting from the Twitch community here. So if you're not following us already, please do that. That would be amazing. And other than that, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and we will be back on Thursday with another podcast. Other than that, y'all have a great night, and we will see you later.